All right, time to talk about God. And no, I don't mean the big man upstairs. No, I don't mean Rashigal or Ishtar. I am not talking about sucking her toes like other people. We are talking about like someone that for Fate is literally is basically God. As you know in Fate, the whole point is to get to the root, to get real magic. Yeah, Shiki already has that connection. So everything comes from the root, everything goes back to root. Shiki has that connection, so Shiki is basically God. That's the long and short of it, from my understanding. I haven't watched Kara no Kyokai, Garden of Sinners, and I didn't get to play the original then. This is something like eventually I want to like read through, watch through, whatever. But all I know is that Shiki is God, and that's all that you should care about. And considering what her looping looks like right now, yeah, no, I think she's starting to be lore accurate now. She got buffs. She got one actual buff and then a stealth buff, and both make her significantly better at just killing shit. So being Shiki. Yeah. So let us get started. Base attack, it is low. This is not high attack for a 5-star. It's about 800 under the midpoint, so not the best starting point, but her HP is huge. This is a lot of HP. So she's supposed to be like killing shit and staying alive. Hey, she has the stats for it at least. And considering she actually has a heal, like that is better than other servants that are like tanky like this. Jinako has a heal, but it's on her MP, but also she has a spammable MP. But like Artoria has like super high HP, but she doesn't have any healing at all. Even though technically with Avalon, she should actually, like, I don't want to say like her next buff, her charisma should be like she gets healed per turn like Lily, but like if they want to give her Avalon, she's gonna have to have like a guts or healing or something. Like, I don't think that FGO is ever gonna let her have Avalon, but I'm just saying, like, if she gets a skill buff that has to do with Avalon, it's got to be like healing per turn or some kind of like survivability thing. But that kind of wouldn't make sense on Artoria considering how people use her and how they buffed her. Ooh. Unfortunate. Star weight, star dead are normal. Saber numbers 0.84% on MP charge. She is showing like what time period she came out, because this is the standard Saber deck. Like we have not because this is Void Shiki, we have Assassin Shiki, and she looks modern. She looks modern as shit with her skills, especially with the buffs, hit counts. The only thing that doesn't is her attack, but also that kind of is modern. We've seen like low attack 4-stars come out lately. I think Nocnaria, I think her each attack came out like low. Hold up, let me fact check. I cast doubt. No, like hers is high, but it's not like, or hers is okay, but it's not like super high. Like Zenobia, who's almost has like 10k attack as a level 80 4-star. But yeah, no, this hurts her refund, but not as much as you'd think now. With Castoria, fixes issues with like low hit counts on cards. She crits on this, she regens a lot. And if you're not brute forcing Shiki, like basically like a quick unit, because that kind of is how she loops. Like you need to keep feeding her 50%, but she can start with 0. Again, I'm not a fan of the hit counts, but it is whatever. It's basically Li Xuan, and y'all know how I feel about Li Xuan. The difference is that she's a Saber, he's an assassin. It doesn't matter if a Saber has less quick cards. It does for an assassin. All right, first skill is what was buffed. In comparison to Assassin Shiki, this skill was a worse version of it. As funny as it is, OG Shiki had the 1-turn invul. She had this for 50% and this at 100%. How? I genuinely want to know how they released a welfare that has better, like a better version of this skill. Is it a lore thing? No, it is. It has to be. This has to be a lore thing of the Shiki having better Mystic Eyes of Death Perception. I don't get how that makes sense since this one's connected to God, but okay. Where is God? I don't fucking know. I just like saying that, honestly. So buff. They gave her Invul Pierce for 3 turns instead of 1. Okay, so they just made everything 3 turns, and they also fixed this to be 100%. Good. This is what she needs to help her with her looping. This is for boss fights, and this is to fucking meme on people, because insta-kill is a meme. But, yeah, no, this makes it legit. This with, the Mystico that increases insta-kill chance resistance, or using Shiki as a sub DPS to help with insta-kill, that's actually pretty funny and works surprisingly well in 90++, because 90++, not every wave has a servant. If not every wave has a servant, that means insta-kill is viable. The second you start having servants in the mix is when insta-kill doesn't work. So yeah, this is great buff. Second skill. This is product of its time. 25% attack for herself. Mental debuff resistance up 36%. This is not stun. This is not skill seal. This is terror, confusion, charm resistance, the mental debuffs. I don't think insta-kill resistance counts as mental debuff though. This is a boring skill. This is an old skill. They don't make skills like this anymore. They do not give like mental debuff resistance specifically anymore. They stopped doing that a long time ago. They would have just made it debuff resistance flat out if they made Shiki like today. Ooh, I'm getting a glare. One. I got the curtains for a reason, and I almost forgot what they were there for. Third skill has already been buffed. They realized that on a unit like Shiki, you can't have an effect like this. The reason being is because unlike Swertoria, that has so much goddamn refund, it doesn't even matter. Shiki does before insta-killed before damage. Her refund was scuffed from the beginning. So her having this by itself wasn't going to fly. It wasn't worth it. But again, this is a 5k heal on a 4-turn cooldown, and they buffed it. So now if you want Shiki to have the battery, you heal someone else, and then that servant loses the gauge, but Shiki gets a 30% battery. This is what she needs to farm. If you want to start with Black Rail, you need this. Just remember, don't target yourself. The order of operations is you will get the battery, and then you will lose 10%. If you lose that 10%, bye-bye starting from 0. You're like, if you unlock mana loading down here, instead of starting from 50, you'll be starting from 60. If you're popping Castoria 30s, something went wrong if you're popping more than 1. Although, granted, with this being a 30, I would honestly save this for a different time and pop the Castoria battery, like AOE 30 first. Because if you can pop your Castoria's MPs before Shiki, that's a good thing. That means you're getting even more attack, which helps you get overkill. And Shiki is kind of either you kill them with overkill or you don't. It literally is no in between. 20% debuff resistance. It helps with this, but I would rather have just flat out debuff resistance than just mental, but Crit damage 6%, insta-kill resistance 6%, mental debuff resistance 6%. This is the beast skill. Yeah, so 42% mental debuff resistance along with regular 20%. Yeah, no, it is very hard to like mentally debuff Shiki, which again connected to the root. would make a lot of sense. That would be hard to corrupt something that is like literally from the source of the universe, like directly connected to the source. You would like, do you think there's anything that can literally corrupt the universe that did not spawn from it? Yeah, like that is like having a way to destroy a reality marble, stabbing like the earth and then destroying the universe. Like that shit does not make sense. You can't stab like some random part of the unit, like of matter, and say you're gonna kill the universe from that. That logically would not make sense, and is some like kid's imagination of how power scaling works. And again, we're back here. Connection to the root. She's connected to like the entire source of everything. She gets a card buff, Omni card buff. Also the refund, but it just makes her cards better, really. It is kind of why she has this arts res at 40, because technically she has that 46% arts up, so it's like 4% off. So it really doesn't matter that this is only 40 instead of 50, because it's, if you round up, it's close enough. And then when you're stacking a whole lot of arts buffs, like what is it? 150% arts up doesn't matter that much compared to 146. Like in the long run, like the math isn't gonna affect it that much, maybe like 1 or 2%. But that's about it. It's not gonna matter that much. Would go for mana loading, but again, to each their own. You really should, but like if you want to be doing Shiki for like face card stuff, I don't blame you. She does have this like now 3 turns, so you can bring her to do face card stuff. You're gonna have to give her the tools to crit though. She is not naturally a crit servant. You have to make her into one. So bring Popus Johanna if you want to force the crits. And again, up to you. MP. This was already buffed, but they stealth buffed her, just like Shisho and and Assassin Shiki, when they fixed the trigger proc for MPs like hers, where it says it's supposed to deal damage first and then insta-kill, but instead it was insta-killing first and then doing damage. There is a big difference on that, and one way, if it happens first, you don't get any refund whatsoever. The enemy's already dead. It's like you're fighting a wave with one less enemy in it, not that the enemy's already dead, so you get insta-kill. That would be awesome if that's how insta-kill actually worked for refund. They're already dead, so any hit you do is automatically considered overkill. That would be amazing if that's how it worked, but it doesn't. It's gone. Oh my god. That is the stealth buff I wish they did. I wish, but I think that would require them actually changing how insta-kill truly works. Like they would have to go in and update the code, so I don't think that's happening. It has always dealt damage that pierce defense. Now it cleanses, which is awesome if you're running her with a Castoria. Castoria has the 3-turn cadence, and if you mess up that cadence, you're not going to be able to survive MPs or anything that like Invul Pierce would not be able to, or sorry, that Invul would just be able to like be laughed at by the enemy. So having debuff cleanse here, not being forced to pop Castoria's MP when you need a cleanse, not when you need protection, it eases your mind. You don't have to worry about it. You pop Castoria MP when you need Castoria MP, not when you just need like to cleanse off some like attack buff that if it hits you, you are going to die because your defense is so low. Also 10% battery. This does help with the refund. So Shiki, she's basically looping like a quick servant where you have to go for 50%. This is gonna get her easier to 50%. Again, insta-kill happens after damage now. Right, if you have her costumes, she counts as costume animal trait characteristic. So Koyan Dark actually buffs her up. Is she humanoid? Yeah. yeah, she is humanoid, so she does get demerits, but it is something. I just like pointing that out sometimes. Her mats actually are fairly tame. Yeah, no, her mats are like extremely tame. These are not mats that are going to take you like literal months to get. You can get this just by farming training grounds. Some of the training grounds, and yeah, some of the training grounds will just drop this shit. Like you don't have to. You're not going to be in the caves grinding for bones for fucking years. Void dust a little bit, but again, you can. Void dust is easy. Like I find void dust easier to farm than bones. Bones is just boring. Bones is boring as shit to farm. Bonsi arcs buff while she's on the field. Hey, like if this becomes a passive, then she has 61% arts up at all time, or when her skill is up. That's a nice buff, but this is not something you would be running with her. You should probably run Black Rail or like something to like make Shiki function better. Give her a guts, just something to make Shiki like killing everything and not getting killed, pretty much. Again, that is a lot easier than you think because of how good the seal is. You actually, honestly, you can run like Maiden Halloween, which ups your healing received like 75% when it's MLB'd. Yeah, you turn this into an 8, almost a 9k heal. Yeah, Shiki's not dying. You get that, like, all you have to do is make sure she doesn't die to an MP, and like she shouldn't be dying if she's fighting Lancers. If you have a 9k heal on a 4-turn, like, the only thing that is gonna put you down is an MP. Like, look at Kiara, how easy it is for her to fucking stay alive. And like, just use that as an example for Shiki. And and just like Kiara, she insta-kills too. So if she's staying alive, there's a good thing. Eventually the enemy's gonna die. Wait, sorry for the uploads on this. I've been waking up early. So unfortunately this is gonna be a late upload, is what it is. Don't expect gameplay for Void Shiki because I definitely do not have her, and doing a scuff video is not something I want to put out. So I will scuff farming, as in I'm not showing. No, like, you know what? I actually will try and do this because there is literally no difference from me pulling from my friends list for Void Shiki to do a video like this than me using it anyway how I would in normal farming, like giving her like the detective foams. I already do scuff looping like that, so you know what? Be on the lookout for me trying to do a Void Shiki like quick 2-minute farm set video. I want to start doing those more, and if this is the start of it, cool. I get to start with God. All right, peace. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed, drop a like or sub. Hope to see you in the next one. Peace.